Imagine stepping up to a podium at your local town hall. You lean into the microphone, you make your case, and everyone in the room hears you. But you don't realize that on the official YouTube livestream, your audio has been quietly cut. A military veteran in Texas recently lived this exact scenario. He had spent a year participating in school board meetings to report whistleblower retaliation and serious violations involving special education programs. At one particular meeting, before he even spoke his first word, the board president allegedly pressed a button and killed the livestream audio. At the very next meeting, that same official publicly denied that any muting ever took place. The veteran didn't let it go. Facing legal fees that could reach $100,000, he taught himself the law and filed a pro se civil rights lawsuit in federal court, arguing that the government actively suppressed his speech. The school district fired back with a motion to dismiss, relying on a specific legal distinction. They argued because the veteran was allowed to speak freely in the physical room, his rights were intact. Legally speaking, they claim the digital podium simply does not exist. We're watching laws written for physical town squares collide with the realities of online civic life. To fight back, the plaintiff built his case around 42 U.S.C. Section 1983, a federal statute used to sue local governments for civil rights violations. This structural diagram shows the core of his designated public forum theory. When the government chooses to live stream an event and offers a public comment period, they are effectively extending the boundaries of the physical meeting room into the digital space, creating a protected forum for speech. Notice how the broadcast pathway operates here. If the government filters and blocks critical statements while allowing neutral ones to pass through, that targets the speaker's specific viewpoint. Doing this before the speech even happens acts as a prior restraint. The First Amendment also protects the listener. Supreme Court doctrine establishes a right to receive information, meaning the audience watching online has a clear constitutional right to hear the petition being made to their government. Under this reading of the law, voluntarily opening a digital broadcast channel and then selectively silencing a critic on that channel is active, unconstitutional censorship. The defense's motion to dismiss takes all of that legal framework and flips the constitutional argument entirely on its head. This logic flowchart contrasts the two sides of the defense's argument. They rely on the principle that the First Amendment is a negative right. It acts as a barrier to stop the government from gagging you, but it does not mandate a positive duty for the government to hand you a megaphone. Looking at the positive duty side of the chart, you see the crossed-out internet broadcast icon. The defense uses precedents like Houchins v. KQED to argue that they have absolutely no constitutional obligation to broadcast private citizen speech to the internet. The defense hinges on a specific geographical boundary. Because the veteran addressed the board directly inside the meeting room, the government argues its constitutional obligation ended at the door. Even if the muting was unconstitutional, the defense invokes a massive institutional barrier known as Monell municipal liability. To successfully sue a municipality under Monell, a plaintiff has to prove that the constitutional violation was caused by an official policy or established custom of the entire board, rather than the rogue action of a single person pressing a button. A single private citizen acting as their own lawyer has to somehow prove the internal policy of a government body, all before they even have the power to demand internal documents through legal discovery. This ruling will define the legal standards for every local government in the country. If the defense wins, city councils and school boards gain the authority to selectively filter their digital streams, while remaining technically compliant in the physical room. This data comparison shows exactly how that works in practice. The top timeline represents the complete, unedited public comment in the physical room. Below it is the heavily redacted digital timeline. By keeping the physical room open but silencing the digital stream, a government body can engineer a completely sanitized public record for the internet. But if the plaintiff wins, the digital and physical records align. A victory would legally bind the digital podium to the First Amendment, ensuring that official online live streams carry the exact same constitutional protections as the physical town hall. The veteran explicitly tied his individual fight to the Texas Constitution, which states that all political power is inherent in the people, and all free governments are founded on their authority. Transparency is ultimately dictated by what the government allows the public to hear. The resolution of this case will define exactly what it costs to speak up in your own digital town hall.